Hello children, we will study about satellites in this class. So satellites are the object that revolves around the planet in a stable and consistent orbit. Okay, satellites are an object that revolves around the planet in a stable and consistent orbit. Satellites can be classified into two categories. Those are natural and artificial. So natural satellites are natural objects. Natural objects revolving around the planet are natural satellites. They are also known as moons. So mostly moons are spherical and they are not usually asteroids or meteors that were captured by the strong gravity of a planet. So all planets have moons except Mercury and Venus, which means that Mercury and Venus have no moons in our solar system. So except these two planets, all the other planets have moons. So we will now see about how many moons does each planet have. Earth has only one moon, whereas planets like Jupiter and Saturn have more than 60 moons. So Earth has only one moon, as I said earlier, and Mars has two moons. Jupiter has 79 moons. Saturn has 82 moons. Uranus has 27 moons. Neptune has 14 moons. We will now see about artificial satellites. So artificial satellites are man-made objects, which means that natural satellites are natural objects. Artificial satellites are made by man, that is we make them, okay, and they are placed in an orbit to rotate around the planet, and it will be usually the Earth. So world's first artificial satellite is Sputnik, and it is launched by Russia, okay, and India also launched its first satellite. It is Aryabhatta. I repeat again, world's first artificial satellite was launched by Russia, which is named as Sputnik. Okay, so why do we use these satellites? What are the uses? They are used in television and radio transmission, agriculture yield. That means we can know how much there is agriculture yield, and for locating mines, that is mineral resources. And by these satellites we can also come to know about the weather conditions of each and every country, that is weather forecasting, and locating different places on the earth to find out different places on the earth. Okay, so this is Sputnik, which was launched by Russia. It is the world's first satellite. And this is Aryabhatta, which was the first satellite ever to be launched by India. It was launched on 19th April 1975. Aryabhatta satellite was named after the Indian astronomer named Aryabhatta. Okay, I repeat again, Aryabhatta was the first satellite to be launched by India on 19th April 1975. It is named after the Indian astronomer Aryabhatta. We will now study about ISRO. ISRO is the space agency of the government of India. So it has its headquarters in Bangalore. Okay, so it is a space agency of the government of India. Its vision is to harness space technology for national development while pursuing space science research and planetary exploration, which means that they want to conduct and explore and do research based on space science. Okay, and it was formed in 1969, and ISRO superseded the Indian National Committee for Space Research, established in 1962 by scientist Vikram Sarabhai. So it superseded the Indian National Committee for Space Research. Indian National Committee for Space, Indian National Committee for Space Research, that is INCOSPAR, established in 1962 by the Indian scientist Vikram Sarabhai. So this INCOSPAR was first established, and then after that in 1969 ISRO was formed, ISRO was established. And then so this ISRO, this space agency or space organization, it institutionalized space activities in India. That means it developed and researched about so many topics, or conducted so many experiments based on space science in India, and it is managed by the Department of Space, and all the activities conducted in this ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization, is reported to the Prime Minister of India. Whatever happens in this organization is directly reported, or so many reports are written on experiments and research conducted in this organization is directly reported to the Prime Minister of India. So this is the ISRO where rockets are manufactured and launched. This is the ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, which is located in Bangalore. So this is Rohini, and Rohini became the first satellite to be placed in orbit by an Indian-made launch vehicle SLV-3. This is the first satellite to be placed in orbit by an Indian-made launch vehicle SLV-3. And ISRO subsequently developed two other rockets, that is PSLV and GSLV. PSLV means Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, for launching satellites into polar orbits, and this is GSLV, which means Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, for placing satellites into geostationary orbits. So these rockets have launched so many communication satellites and Earth observation satellites. So ISRO again launched a lunar orbiter, Chandrayaan-1 on 22nd October 2008, and a Mars orbiter mission on 5th November 2013, which entered the Mars orbit on 24th September 2014. And this made India the first country to succeed on its first attempt to Mars, and ISRO became the fourth space agency in the world, as well as the first space agency in Asia to reach the Mars orbit. On 15 February 2017, ISRO launched 104 satellites in a single rocket, PSLV C-37, and it created a world record. Okay. So on 15 February 2017, ISRO launched 104 satellites in a single rocket, PSLV C-37, and created a world record. So as you can see in the picture, this is PSLV C-37, and India created a world record by launching the single rocket. And ISRO also launched its heaviest rocket, GSLV Mk3, which means Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle Mark 3, on 5th June 2017 and placed a communication satellite GSAT-19 in its orbit. So, by launching GSLV Mk3 Mark 3, ISRO became capable of launching 4-ton heavy satellites. And this is Chandrayaan-2. ISRO launched Chandrayaan-2 on 22nd July 2019 on Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle GSLV Mark 3, and this Chandrayaan-2 entered Moon's orbit on August 20, 2019, and it later landed on the Moon on September 7. I repeat, this Chandrayaan-2 entered the Moon's orbit on August 20, 2019, and it later landed on the Moon on September 7. Thank you, students.